Hey, birth warrior. Welcome to the Preparing for Pregnancy After Loss podcast. This is your host, Natalie Facey, and it's 2021. Oh, wow. We are here. We made it. We are here. We have crossed the threshold into the new year. And I am curious, how are you feeling about the new year? Are you like, thank heavens you're here and 2020 is over? Do you find yourself easing into 2020? Or are you sort of digging your heels into the ground because there are things that you still wanted to get done in 2020 that haven't gotten done, and you're like, I can't believe it's 2021 and I still didn't do all of these things, and I feel like I'm running out of time? There's no shame in admitting any of that. Wherever you are, it's okay. It's fine. We're here and it's gonna be great. The new year is going to be great. I have to admit though that I still sort of want to bask into 2020 a little bit. And it's not the most bask worthy year, you know? It's not it wasn't the year with the most amazing things, but still there were some amazing things that happened in 2020. It definitely brought us a lot of opportunities for growth. We were forced to grow in ways that we didn't think we would, or in ways that we didn't think that we needed to. Areas of our lives that felt stuck or rigid, we were forced to be flexible in those areas because of the very challenging situations that we were put in. So 2020 was like a level up year, right? It definitely forced us to level up in ways that we didn't think we would have to. So before officially talking about anything 2021, that number is still so weird for me. Every time I write a date, I'm still writing 2020. So definitely still getting used to the new year. And before we like fully step in, I actually want to just pause and reflect on 2020. So this particular episode, it's going to be a bit more personal because I'm going to talk about my journey and my favorite moments from 2020. But I would definitely recommend that you do the same for yourself. Like, really spend some time and reflect on 2020. Reflective exercises are sometimes annoying because it's like going back and having to think about all of the things. But what I find is that our system, like our body, our internal system, or being, doesn't really settle until we have done a full look back. It doesn't really settle and feel at peace until we look back and acknowledge what happened and find peace about what happened. So if you're feeling this sense like, oh, like I can't believe it's the new year, and it might feel like you're moving into the new year so quickly and the prior year ended so quickly. If you're feeling that sense of resistance about 2021, it might be that there is some closure that needs to happen for 2020. The closure doesn't have to be sad, it doesn't have to be long, but it's really just pausing and really paying respect to the prior year in this way that you are creating space for the new year, right? You're opening yourself to being ready for the new year because you've closed out on the prior one. So what I'm going to do today is pay my respect to my 2020 by highlighting what I consider to be my favorite frames or my favorite memories or favorite moments of 2020. Yeah, I love these gratitude exercises. I could definitely complain about the sucky, annoying things that happened, but I believe that, where you place your attention, you get more of that. So I'm going to place my attention on things that I loved, things that I appreciated, things that gave me joy. So yeah, let me start. My very first one on the top of my list is that 2020 gave me so many opportunities to deepen my self care practice. There was so much time that I could spend just nurturing myself and that I could spend in self discovery. Like, I got to spend a lot of time in nature, a lot of time with myself, a lot of time with spirit, with, just like being with myself and in my element, which I consider to be nature. So I got to take walks that took hours, and I mean like between 2 and 3 hours, just like walking slowly with my husband, like in the park, like looking at the trees and admiring flowers and pointing at the squirrels or the turtle or ducks or just like all these animals and all these representations of nature that were around us. And it's interesting because we've lived beside a park for definitely more than a year. And in the midst of the lockdown, it's been the most time that we have spent in nature. So it isn't that nothing changed basically, with the exception of not commuting into the city for work. And because we weren't commuting, we were at home in our neighborhood and spending time in nature. And I was really brought to this place of deep, deep appreciation for just how much love I was surrounded by in the form of nature. So I got to spend time in the mornings doing yoga stretches. I got to spend time, a lot of time during the day actually, like with my little picnic blanket, sitting down in the park, having water or tea and journaling. Like, I got to spend hours journaling. Or it could have been a Saturday morning where I also spent hours journaling because an insight came to me and I just got to go deeper and deeper and deeper into self inquiry and just this beautiful process of unraveling whatever inner stories I've been holding. And really, that was the gift from 2020, being able to spend so much time with myself and learn so much about myself and my journey and practice forgiveness around things that I had been holding for a long time and just get all of these insights from spirit. All of these insights from nature, being able to walk with my bare feet on the grass and being able to lie on the grass with my stomach on the ground, which even that is so healing because nature is so healing. One of the things I mentioned to a client last week actually was that nature is the mother healer. Nature is a great healer. And so when we're holding things in our bodies, nature has the ability to take those things, the things that we're not able to process, the things that we're holding for a while. Nature can heal us on a deeper level. And so I got to spend so much time in nature and really deepen my healing, deepen my own process of self inquiry, deepen my own process of self love. And I think through doing all of that work, it prepared me to show up for my clients in a different way. On one level, it was self care. So being able to take care of myself so much, I was just so nourished and so restored by the time I was showing up for a client. And on another level, it's like being able to dive into my work so much. I just prepare to show up in a different way. So, yeah, I would say that was number one on my gifts from 2020, or my favorite frames from 2020. This gift of self-care and self-nurturing and self discovery by just spending a lot more time with myself versus commuting in New York City. So, yeah, that was awesome. Number two is This full circle moment that I had with a doula client, a birth doula client. So, along with my work as a coach and my work as a somatic healing practitioner, I'm also a birth doula. So, 2 years ago, I had been volunteering for this organization in Brooklyn, this wonderful organization that supports people in their healing after loss and provides resources during pregnancy. So I was one of the facilitators for their support group. And I met this lovely woman who had experienced a loss in, I think, the summer of 2018. And my loss was a few months prior in March. So that was with my second, with Mateo. My ceremony, Mateo's ceremony took place. What do you call the places where ceremonies take place? It took place in the places where ceremonies take place. And when this woman came to the organization, I was basically asked by the head of the organization if I was interested in facilitating her baby's ceremony, her baby's going home ceremony. I jumped at the opportunity because it felt like the greatest honor to be able to support someone in their journey, to help to walk them on the path that I had already walked on, right? So my baby ceremony was held in the same room that I was facilitating this woman's baby ceremony. And that to me felt like a full circle moment. It felt so special that I had the honor of doing that. Like, how huge is that to be able to support someone on that level, right? So I kept in touch with her because there was already so much that we had in common, just so much. So I kept in touch with her. I would check in with her every now and again. And it turns out that she was now pregnant in 2020 and having a rainbow baby. So she asked if I could be her doula, and I was like, hell to the yes, hell yes, all the yeses, yes, yes, yes. So I had the opportunity of being her doula this year. Well, not this year, last year, which was so cool. And so that was the full circle moment. I thought the full circle moment was, being at the ceremony and supporting her in that way. But the full circle moment was, you know, being at the ceremony and then helping her to bring in her rainbow baby. And this baby was so beautiful. Like, the whole birthing process is so beautiful. And I think it's even more meaningful when you've seen the journey that someone has gone through, like whether it's loss or infertility. So seeing that journey and being able to have her hold her baby in her arms, it's like, like I'm looking at this child and thinking, we have prayed for you. Like, do you even know how many prayers have gone out for you so that this moment would be here, so that you would be safe? And she was just this beautiful baby girl that looked so peaceful and looked so happy to be in her mother's arms. And I feel so privileged to have been able to just be in the room, but also so privileged to have been able to support her through that, like to be with her through that and to remind her of her strength, to remind her of the journey that she had gone through and the fact that she has the strength to bring her baby earthside. Even now, while I'm speaking, there is an image of a rainbow on my fridge that's like calling my attention. And I'm remembering that on that day, I wore my rainbow scarf to represent the fact that this was a rainbow birth. And, it was just so special. So that was one of just the really powerful moments for me in 2020, to be able to experience that moment with that woman, to have seen her in her pain and to have been with her in her pain and to be able to see her in her joy and to also be with her in her joy. So I don't know if you're listening to this, but if you are, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of that. And I'm also grateful that I get to still be a part of your life and your baby's life because, obviously we're still in touch. So thank you for that. That was a really special moment for me. Okay. And then the other reason why I wanted to mention that is it's sort of evidence, right? Or if not evidence, but it's a reminder that your story doesn't end at loss and it doesn't end at infertility. This woman's story didn't end at her first loss or, even the subsequent loss that she had after that. And now that she has her rainbow, she gets to raise her rainbow baby with that knowledge of her angel and with her history and with her strength and with all of that. And so I'm saying one of the other reasons why I'm mentioning this is that our story doesn't end with loss and it doesn't end with infertility. And so just as, this woman was able to welcome in her rainbow, I'm holding that vision for you as well, that you get to welcome in your rainbow baby or your first baby if infertility has been the challenge for you. In due time, it will happen, I'm sure. All right, so number 3 for me is the Birth Warrior Boot Camp. So I'm sure a lot of other things happened in the summer. The Birth Warrior Boot Camp happened in December, and so because it was like high on the list of highlights, I cannot quite remember what else happened during the year because the Birth Warrior Boot Camp is so recent and it was all the way up there in terms of highlights. So it was 8 days of me teaching these different tools and principles. 8 days of birth warriors sharing their own journeys and their own stories and really building a close connection with each other. It was 8 days of insights and ahas, and it was such a beautiful experience for me because I got to see in real time the transformation that was happening, and I got to see it happening so quickly. So the members, the birth warriors who attended, they were sharing the things that were shifting in their lives. They were sharing the new understanding that they were coming to around their bodies and their emotions and what happens in the brain and in the body after experiencing a loss and how to use the same body's technology, right? How to use that for their healing. So it was so beautiful to see the shifts that were happening. It was also really beautiful to see the connections that members were making by sharing their stories with each other. I'm going to share a couple of highlights. So I put together a framework for having conversations with your partner, ensuring that you're on the same page when you're going on the conception journey, like when you're planning to become pregnant again, because not being on the same page means that if there are actually challenges that arise, while you're pregnant or while you're trying to conceive, then it might just lead to greater conflicts because the thing at the root wasn't resolved to begin with. And so things just fester and aren't dealt with, right? And so this framework that I shared, one of the members, it actually empowered one of the members to share it with her husband, right? And this was really the first time that she was having this difficult conversation, and the framework gave her the ability to have that conversation, which is huge, right? And then one other member or one other attendee shared that she learned more in boot camp than what she learned in a year of therapy. So boot camp was more beneficial for her. And we hadn't even ended boot camp. I think we're at day 6 or 7. We did not complete boot camp. So within 6 or 7 days of boot camp, she felt as though she had gotten more value from that than from a year of therapy. So that was just huge for her. And I just want to underscore the value in working whether it's a therapist or a coach that you work with, but working with someone who either has experienced loss or they know what that experience is like. Because you don't have to do the work of getting them on the same page as you. You don't have to do the work of helping them to understand the depths of your story and your journey because they're already there, right? But another benefit of working with a coach versus working with a therapist is a therapist really focus on helping you to understand and process the past. So when something from the past is too difficult or too painful, therapists really specialize in helping you to untangle all of that, understand all of that, right? So mostly focusing on the past. Coaches, on the other hand, coaches focus on strategies for the future. So, how do you find the best way to navigate where you are right now and to get to the goal of the future that you have for yourself? No, what I do is a combination of coaching and somatic therapy, or I call it somatic healing, which means that I am working on the past. I am supporting you in processing and healing what happened in the past on a very deep level, but I'm also supporting you in finding strategies to move forward. So, in the program that I have, it's a combination of coaching, strategies for the future and strategies to navigate what's happening right now, and somatic therapy or somatic healing, which is working through the emotional healing, the emotional hurt from the past. So the combination of those two. So all of that to say, Birth Warrior Bootcamp was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. At the end of the very first day of boot camp, I wrote in my journal, because I always have a journal, gratitude, gratitude, life giving. I was really grateful for the opportunity to put together so many resources and so many tools to really pack them in these 8 days, and to really see the value that it brought to the birth warriors who attended. So whenever I send out a promo for the next birth warrior boot camp in this year 2021, so weird to be saying that year, but in this year, definitely make an effort to attend because it is so valuable, right? But in addition to that, what was really special was seeing that, having gone through the experience that I've gone through, so having loss at 17 plus weeks, and then giving birth to an infant like a year and a half later, and then having that infant make his transition 6 weeks after he was born, like those are two freaking crazy experiences to go through, right? If you've gone through any of those things, either pregnancy loss or infant loss or infertility, you know that those are really challenging things to go through. And it's just such a gift to be able to take that experience and make it into something that actually benefits other people. Because really, what I created was everything that I wish I had. And to see that other people don't have to go through the pain or the frustration or the loneliness or the confusion that I went through during my second pregnancy, that I don't want to say that it was worth it, but I am grateful that I made something beneficial out of it, right? So I don't want to say, oh, it was good that I went through that experience because this is where I am right now. It's like that experience just is what it is, you know? But the fact that that experience is blessing the lives of so many people, that gives me joy. Like that for me is life giving. And so those were the three main highlights and my three favorite frames from 2020. But I have to end it with saying, thanks to you, like thanks to you for listening. Thank you for, following me on Instagram or being a part of the Facebook community or being a part of our newsletter list. Just all the ways that you have engaged and all the ways that you have shared what I am so passionate about sharing. Thank you for doing that. Like, if you have sent anything to anyone to help to bless their experience and to help them to have tools and support on their journey, thank you for that. And if you yourself are using the tools for your own journey, thank you for that too. Because I think that once we focus on our own healing, then everything that we touch in our lives is improved, right? When you work on your healing, then your partnership is improved because you are a part of your partnership. As a parent, you become a better parent. As a sister and an aunt and whoever, wherever, whatever spaces you inhabit, that space improves because you are there and because you worked on your healing. So the fact that you are here and you are listening to this, I just want to shower you with so much appreciation for being here. You know, like I've seen the number of downloads of the podcast increase, and I'm always like, really? People are listening? Who's listening? Is it just me that have clicked on the listen button over and over again on different platforms and they're like not counting it correctly? Because I started this podcast in, I think, February or January, definitely pre-COVID, because there was just so much that I wanted to share. And I would say that I started it with uncertainty, you know, not knowing who would listen, not knowing if it would be valuable. There have been a few people who've posted on social media that this has been beneficial for them. And I've heard from a few people that this has been beneficial for them. I would say a few people. And so, for anyone else who hasn't told me yet that they're listening, feel free to contact me just so that I know for sure that like people are actually listening. That there's not some bug on not social media, that there's not some bug on the internet that is like skewing the numbers. You know, I'm still somewhat in disbelief. But in all seriousness, I am really grateful that you're listening. Just really grateful. And if there is ever anything that you want to hear that will support you on your journey, do reach out to me and let me know, because this is for you. As much as I share parts of my story, this is for you, right? This is for you and your journey. And I know that this experience sometimes feels isolating. I know that it feels like, you know, people don't understand your experience. Even your partner, who, you know, you might be sharing the same bed with, your partner might not fully understand what you've gone through, what your body has gone through, what your body is still going through. So I get it. And I want to make sure that whenever I come here and I begin speaking, I am speaking to your experience and I'm sharing things that are going to be valuable for you and your journey. So do not hesitate to reach out. I am accessible. You can reach me on Instagram. I am a real person, a real human that is considering, you know, your needs and that wants to consider your needs. So feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. If you're a member of the Facebook community, feel free to DM me there or send me an email at hello@nataliefacey.com. I would love to hear from you. One, to know that you're real. Two, to know who you are. And three, to know how I can support you. So definitely feel free to reach out. Okay? Would love to hear from you. And then I would say what I want to close with today is really, I wouldn't say it's my word for 2020. You see, I should be saying 2021. I wouldn't say it's my word for 2021 because I think we're constantly evolving as humans. Like, we're constantly growing, you know? So even if I start with a word or a phrase or with a thought, by like March, I'm going to be on another level because we grow, you know? And if 2020 has taught us anything, it's definitely that the time that we're in on this planet, or our growth is being sped up, just to put it lightly. It's definitely being accelerated. I would say that the thought that I am starting the year with is cultivating joy in my body. And that is in the most literal terms, like cultivating joy in my body, as literal as it can get. I was standing by my kitchen sink about 2 or 3 nights ago, where I have my best ideas. Kitchen sink and the shower. So this one was by the kitchen sink, washing dishes, and somehow I was being guided to breathe into my body and to breathe into my stomach area in a way that I hadn't before. So I began that. I just followed that guidance and began to breathe into my body, into my gut, into my stomach area. And the thought that came to me was to cultivate joy, was to basically create joy in my body. So I didn't have to go out and do anything. I didn't have to like put on Netflix or, like watch something on IGTV. I just had to stand there and create joy in my body. I wouldn't even say experience joy, like create joy in my body. And that was a beautiful practice that I expanded and expanded for another few minutes just by breathing. And so, what was left with me was this idea of cultivating joy in my body, creating joy in my body. And it really is done through the breath. So, I think I was so excited to discover this practice that I've shared it already with a few women that I am a part of a group with, an accountability and like spiritual group with. But the lesson for me there, just in those moments as I was standing by the sink, was that we don't have to look outside of us for all of the answers. And we don't have to look outside of us for the positive emotions, for the feel good experiences, because we can create them right into our bodies. And the other thing too is we go through our day and our week and our month with so much anxiety and so much fear, especially with all that's happening on our planet right now. With the anxiety and the fear, we are essentially driving out the joy, we're driving out the happiness, we're driving out our clarity and our sense of peace. But we can bring that back in. We can almost as though you're planting a seed. Like we can plant this garden of joy in our bodies and have that expand through the breath. It's definitely a practice that I'm going to be sharing with my clients because this was just like amazing. And from the women that I shared it with definitely this week, the feedback that they shared was that really expanded them and brought them to a new place. And so I'm definitely going to be sharing this with my clients because it's really reminding ourselves that the power is within us. And I've continued to practice this throughout the week, so I get to a point in my day when I begin to feel tightness in my body. I get to a point in my day where I cannot think clearly anymore because either I've been at my laptop for too long or I've been working for too long. And when I get to that point, no, I stop working and I pause and I bring in joy. I pause and I expand my breath in my belly and allow it to move to other areas of my body. And so, it's definitely the practice that I'm starting the year with, but I am positive that it will continue to expand in other ways. But beyond the physical practice of like, the breathing and just allowing the energy or the breath really to flow, beyond that, beyond the mechanics of it, it's this idea that we get to create joy in our lives first. It's this idea that we don't have to constantly look outside of ourselves for satisfaction and for joy. Like you don't have to wait for something outside of you to be satisfied, for some box to be checked outside of you before you can experience joy in your body, right? So I know that you have goals for the new year. Whether or not you have written them, I know that you are already thinking of things that you want to create in your life for the new year. So that could be having your baby, it could be changing careers, it could be moving to a different city, it could be, finding a partner that you feel connected with, that you feel is your soulmate. These are important goals, and I want to encourage you to find joy within yourself first, because when that happens, your joy is guaranteed. When that happens, it's like everything else is bonus. Because I think in the pursuit of everything that we want in our lives, the destination that we want to eventually arrive at, it's joy. Everything that we're seeking, where we want to end up, it's joy. And so by beginning this practice of finding joy in your body, by knowing that you can create that, then everything else is the bonus. And how beautiful it is that, a more loving relationship with your partner gets to be the bonus. That finding this wonderful new city or house to live in gets to be the bonus. That finding a job that really utilizes your passion and your skills gets to be the bonus. And that having a baby, as important as having a baby is, that gets to be the bonus. Because your joy within your body, just yourself alone, there is so much joy that you have within yourself alone. Listen, that just talking about that is giving me so much joy. And so if this resonates with you, I welcome you to bring it into your life as well. And if it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine, but find the thing that does. Find the thing that does and allow that to be your guidepost as you're moving into this new year. Okay? So I think that's it for today. Today's episode is going to be a bit shorter, but I'm just entering this new year holding a lot of gratitude, so much appreciation for the levels of growth that I have been able to experience personally, for the growth that I have seen in my clients, and even for the people that don't work with me directly but are a part of the community or have attended birth warrior boot camp, the level of growth that I have been able to witness in their own life. And I think all of that growth, all of that leveling up really from 2020 is really preparing us to step into our lives in this new year in a whole new way. So I'm excited for what is to come this year. Obviously, things are still a little bit crazy because there is still some remnants of stuff from 2020 that we still have to deal with, either on a societal level or a personal level. And usually what's happening in our personal lives is happening on a planetary or societal level. So like that's happening, but it's okay. I think that we've learned so much in 2020 that we are able to weather any storms that come in 2021 and really navigate 2021 with grace and with strength and with courage. And so I'm really looking forward to what this new year has to bring. So that's it. That's it for today. Look out for more episodes. I think we're keeping a bi-weekly schedule for now. I think in one episode I got really excited and was like, okay, I'll see you next week. But we're doing a bi-weekly schedule for now. And when the time feels right for us to transition to weekly, we might do that. We'll see. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening until the end. And yeah, I'll see you in another couple of weeks. And you know where to find me. If you're not already inside of the Facebook community, definitely come hop over and join us. I lead Birth Warrior Wednesdays every Wednesday, and Birth Warrior Wednesdays is now at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because the 12 p.m. slot was a challenge for some people. And so I've moved it to 6, which gives more people an opportunity to join live. What else is happening? Obviously, I share a lot of like inspiration and stuff on Instagram. There's a newsletter that you can sign up for. If you hop on my website, nataliefacey.com, then you will be added. You can opt in to be added to the newsletter. And I send out an email every Sunday with either inspiration or some tool, something that's going to be helpful for you on your journey. So lots of ways to stay in touch. And of course, you can email me at hello@nataliefacey.com. You can hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. Wherever I am available, feel free to reach out to me and let's connect. How wonderful would it be to connect in 2021, right? To really build a deeper connection. So thank you again for listening. Have a wonderful rest of week, a wonderful rest of day, and you know where to find me. Bye.